Hey guys, sorry for creating this late video, completely forgot, but it's a simple lesson. It's not something you have not seen before. We just need to just finish it off with like 5-10% of new stuff. We're gonna go ahead and go back to factoring, which was the last focus of the last unit. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's do number one, and then once I do number one, you'll be totally understanding of what we were trying to do. We're going to go ahead and factor, but the difference between what we're doing now and what we did in the last unit is that there is an equal zero. So we are going to be solving after we're done factoring. So let's get into it. So let's test this out. Remember, we said the first thing is let's try GCF. Well, we can't GCF because the first, second, and third term, you can't pull out anything. So GCF is out the window. Next thing is we got to factor using the trinomial method. And that's where we went A is equal to, which happens to be 1. B is -1, and C is -6. So over here, we created our X puzzle. And remember, go back to your notes from the last lesson. So A times C, that's going to net me -6. And then B is -1. So we need to figure out, okay, what times what gets me -6 but adds to -1? So that's going to be -3 times 2. So writing it down. So write down my first time. So I have x squared minus 3x plus 2x minus 6. And then we're going to still set it equal to 0. That's going to come into play later on. Split up the first and second term, right? And then we're going to factor. Well, I pull out an x out of the first and second term, so that's going to be x minus 3. And then I could pull out 2 in the second term, so that'll be plus 2. X minus 3 as well is equal to 0. So now I can go ahead and finish the factoring portion. So when I do that, that's going to be x minus 3, x plus 2 is equal to 0. All right. So now when we solve this, right, it's one last step. And I'm going to do that in blue because I want to make sure you guys know that this is the brand new part of the lesson. So when you do this, when you have to go ahead and split it up, right? So I'm going to write down the first set of parentheses, right? And then I'm going to set it equal to 0. And then on the second one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go x plus 2 is equal to 0. So the last part is in blue, and all you're doing is setting each parentheses equal to 0, and we're solving it. So my first one is that if I go ahead and do this, x minus 3 is equal to 0. I'm going to add 3 on both sides, so it could be x is equal to 3. If I go ahead and do this, I'm going to subtract 2 on both sides. X is equal to minus 2. So you're going to have 2 answers for all these problems. That's it, guys. Literally, you're factoring, and then you're finishing it off by solving. I put up 5 other problems for you guys to do. That's going to be based off of factoring from the previous unit. There's also a review from yesterday, so make sure you get that done. So you're going to be constantly reviewing this week. Tomorrow, we're going to step away from some solving and factoring, and we're going to go into the quadratic formula. Again, it's not hard. Just make sure you have the ability to simplify radicals in mind. If you haven't done any review on simplifying radicals, I highly recommend you do that. All right, take care, guys. Stay safe.